Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I apologize in advance for the fact that you're probably going to hear my neighbors because I am outside and they are also outside. But I just wanted to get on and make a short video quickly talking about how excited I am about the new Dune trailer that dropped today. I have been working on putting together like a series of videos. I've decided instead of just one, talking about Dune. I recently reread the first book. It was my third time reading it, but I'd never gone past the first book before. So this time I decided when I finished it, I wanted to read more of the series. So I'm actually in the third book now, my first time reading through the rest of the series. And I've recently rewatched both of the movies. And yeah, I'm just like super excited now. Today they finally dropped the new trailer, like the full-length trailer. They had done like a teaser recently that leaked online, but today was the first like full-length trailer. And I'm honestly a little speechless because it looks beautiful, and I just wanted to like give you a couple reactions I have to it and talk a little bit more about kind of what I'm hoping to do in the Dune universe coming up. So if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Kendra. I am the owner of Half Lucid Jewelry, so I make crowns and earrings and necklaces like the stuff you see me wearing. I am author of the Alien Popstar series, among other books. I take photo shoots of my jewelry using beautiful backdrops and sort of like fantastical settings. So there's a lot of that stuff over on my website as well as my Instagram. If you're not following my Instagram, you should. But I'm also a YouTuber here talking about usually either my chronic allergies, which are constant in my life, or the nerdy things that I love, like Dune or Star Wars or Mr. Robot. So taking sort of a page out of, you know, D'Angelo Wallace's book, I'm just going to kind of talk about whatever I want though, because we're living through a pandemic. It's 2020. There are no rules. So we're going to talk about Dune. When I reread Dune this time, it definitely was very different, you know, to read it as a 34-year-old than when I read it first as a 17-year-old, or when I read it the second time in my mid-20s. When I read it the first time, I was definitely really caught up sort of in the adventure of it. And it's weird to think that I was around the age of Paul Atreides at the beginning of the book when I read it the first time. The second time I read it, I definitely was looking at it more from a writer's point of view, I think, and like really trying to pick apart like how it was written, because I was a lot more focused on writing at the time myself. This time reading it, as I've been taking a break from writing and I've been focused more on my jewelry business, I got to just really enjoy it and read it as a reader, as a fan, as a sci-fi reader, and also as an adult this time. And it's interesting to like look at Paul Atreides now, because where the first time I was, you know, his age when I was reading it, now I'm a grown-up and he feels like a child to me at the beginning. But I definitely also paid a lot more attention to sort of the religious aspects of it, the political aspects of it. I definitely thought a lot more about the fact that, you know, we're set up to kind of believe that Paul is this hero, and especially in the first Dune book, like if that's the only exposure you've ever had to the Dune universe, it's kind of easy to just look at him as being this like prophesied figure who's a hero. And it isn't until you either continue the series or look at the book a little deeper that you realize that it's more of the story of an anti-hero. So Paul, as we meet him, you know, he's fulfilling all of these prophecies that have been set up, but it's really because this religious institution, the Bene Gesserits, have prepared the way in a sort of vague, almost like astrological way of saying, hey, this person is going to come eventually, it's going to be able to do all these things. And they, in that way, were able to set it up for whoever they wanted. And it was like just vague enough, but just specific enough, just like many times it is for people that are doing like psychic readings or whatever. So he fulfills these prophecies because he easily can, you know, they've been set up specifically, or they've been set up vaguely enough that he can fulfill them. So looking at it from that perspective, I definitely saw things in a different way. It was less like, oh wow, Paul really is this hero. He's this prophesied, deity almost to these people. And it was more like, I see how the social conditioning led people to believe that about him. And it forced him to take that on, maybe when he didn't really want to, but it wasn't necessarily as mystical as the characters believe, and even as I believed the first time I read it. So it was definitely interesting kind of coming from that perspective, and I want to talk more about that in a different video just because I could go on for so long about that. But I appreciated the Lady Jessica even more this time than I did before, although she's always been one of my favorite characters. But I really appreciated her this time as, again, the first time I read it, she seemed a lot more grown up to me, and now I'm reading it and I feel a lot closer to her. She's a woman who has all these expectations of her religiously, politically, and in a family setting, and in just like every setting really. And she goes with her heart sometimes, and sometimes those choices are great and sometimes they're not so great. But I loved her a lot more even this time when I read it. So that's kind of the basis for like how it felt when I came back to the Dune fandom, I guess you could say, just in time for this new movie. Now, as most of you know, we're living in the middle of a global pandemic. I don't know what's going to happen when December comes around. I don't know if it's going to be safe to see movies in theaters. I don't know if this movie will be delayed. I'm hoping it won't be. I don't know if it will be released in drive-in theaters. I would hope. This is definitely something that if it's released in a drive-in theater, I will be there. If things aren't better by December, I don't know that I would go see this, even if it was in an indoor theater though, just because I feel like, I don't know that we're there yet. But December is a long way away. Who knows? Maybe we will be by then. But that being said, you can tell from the trailer of this movie that this was a movie that was made for the big screen. And it is very disappointing and sad that this director and this cast made this, what looks to be absolutely gorgeous movie that was supposed to be able to be enjoyed on a big screen. And it probably will not be able to in the way that it was meant to. The director also made the Blade Runner sequel, which I thought that the movie was beautiful. I thought that the environments were beautiful. The visuals were just stunning beyond all belief. I did see that in theaters. It was a movie that I can't necessarily say that I loved story-wise, but I mean, it's Blade Runner. I don't think that we really loved the story of the first one that much either. It was the visuals. It was the sort of magic of mixture of what we were seeing and the music that we were hearing and some of the characters in it, I think that really attached us to Blade Runner, maybe more than the story, but that's a side note. But I think it's interesting that that director is working on this movie, because with Dune, you need somebody who has that ability to just wow us with the visuals. And I think this movie will finally do that, where the first one couldn't quite, because it was the 80s, and where the adaptation that was in 2000, I think, it just couldn't, because it didn't have the budget. It was like a sci-fi channel show. But with this one, you have the cast, you have the environments, you have the director, and I'm so excited just from the trailer. I think I was hesitant about Timothée Chalamet just because, to me, he seems so young, and again, it's because I'm an adult now. If I had seen this trailer when I was 17, I would have lost my mind, and I would have loved him. I was worried that he would come off too much like an annoying teenage boy, though, which Paul has elements of that, but he also is supposed to be sort of wise beyond his years and also kind of snobby, which I'm happy to say from the trailer. I think that Timothée Chalamet will be able to do all of those things. I think he'll be able to seem young and seem as if he's growing into being a young man. I think he'll have that. Oh my God, my neighbors are so loud. This is teenage boys for you. I think he'll be able to have that mix of being a teenage boy, but also being this extremely wealthy, very bougie kid who was raised in, a perfect lifestyle. He was trained from an early age in everything he could possibly ever need to know. So I think Timothée Chalamet is actually going to be a good choice after all. I'm excited about that. Oscar Isaac, perfect casting for Duke Leto. I'm so excited to see him in this role. I think he has the gravitas that's needed for that role. He has that serious look in his eyes. I'm so excited to see him in this role. The woman who's playing Lady Jessica, I think she looks perfect. She's beautiful. She looks kind of delicate, but has that strength behind her eyes. I'm so excited, and I hope they really do a good job with her character because I love her. The worm looks incredible. I'm so excited to see more of the worms in action. I think this worm looks incredible. I don't think that the one from the Lynch movie actually looked that bad, to be honest. I think they looked pretty good for the time. I am super excited to see the guild steersmen. They have not shown them in the trailer. And I love pulling up clips from both of the movies that have come before and comparing how ridiculous both of them look. It's a ridiculous character. The description is ridiculous. There's no way, I feel like, to make a creature like that look normal. But I'm very excited to see what this movie does, and if they show them and what they look like in this. They have to show them. Like, come on. You know, don't be cowards. We want to see the guild steersman. Zendaya as Shani, I think, is perfect casting. I'm so excited that the Fremen are not just a bunch of white guys in the desert like they were in both of the other versions. I think Zendaya is going to be perfect casting, though. She was so utterly good in Euphoria and really won me over as an actress, so I'm excited to see her in this role. I think Jason Momoa is mind-blowing choice for Duncan Idaho. I would have never thought of him for that character, but he's perfect. And like, I will never be able to see Duncan Idaho as somebody else now. I think that was perfect. I agree with my friend Allie. We were talking about this. I think the Harkonnens look a little boring right now. And as she said, it might just be because after the traumatizing experience we had with David Lynch's movie where the Harkonnens were like covered with pus bubbles for no good reason, I think that anything in this version is going to seem pretty tame. But I'm interested to see what they do with them. They didn't feel like a focus, really, though. They didn't feel like a focus in the trailer. They haven't felt like a focus in any of the promo. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're just not really as important to the plot in this version somehow. They looked a little boring. And, you know, there's no Sting, which is too bad. But let's see, who else? Oh, I'm very excited that they finally have an actual Asian actor playing an Asian character in this movie. So Dr. Yui, actually played by an Asian actor, finally. That's awesome. It's interesting that they made Leah Kynes be a woman this time, and I agree with Quinn's ideas, who's like the biggest Dune YouTuber there is. Like, if you need to know anything about Dune, go to his channel. But I agree with him. I think that they're going to have Shani be Stilgar and Leah Kynes' daughter. I think that that would be like a very Hollywood way to kind of tie the characters all together easily and make it a little less complicated and crazy. So that will be interesting seeing what they do with that. And Stilgar, I think Javier Bardem is a great choice for him. I'm excited to see that casting. I'm trying to think who else do we have? Oh, well, we have Gurney also, which, I mean, we'll see. I don't have strong feelings either way about him. I think he seems fine. As I said, though, I'm very excited to see the Guild Steersmen. I think the worms look amazing. The environments look fantastic. I think the Bene Gesserit costumes also look great. Costuming in general looks amazing in this. It looks so much better than either of the previous versions. So I'm very excited about that. You know, I love like accessories and costumes and all that stuff. So very excited about that. I definitely want to do another video soon, though, talking about the books, talking about sort of what I've been learning along the way, following along with that. And I also am trying to get my hands on some of the Dune games so that I can do some videos about that. That should be fun. I'm also very excited about the soundtrack for this movie, by the way. Just side note, it's Hans Zimmer. Why are you not excited? You know, of course, it's going to be great. So yeah, in general, trailer gets 2 huge thumbs up for me. I am so excited. I'm going to probably watch it like over and over again today, just trying to pick up on all the cool stuff that's thrown in there that I missed before. I can't wait to see more peeks into this version, and I definitely will try and update. I'll make like a Dune section for my channel. I'll try and update more as I make more progress in the books and as we learn more about the movie leading up to the release, hopefully in December. Anyway, let me know what you think about Dune. Like, are you excited for the movie? Have you read the books? Which of the books have you read? Have you watched the movies? Like, just talk to me about Dune. Let's all talk about Dune. And if you like Dune and you aren't following Quinn's ideas, you should be. He's great. He loves Dune more than, like, probably more than I even love Muse, which is saying something. So go check him out, and yeah, leave some comments, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Why not? Might as well, you know. Yeah, but anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.